Most retail traders are given pretty poor trading platforms by their brokers that focus on time-based charts only. Whilst time-based charts are important, if you're a lower time frame trader, you'll also want to look at tick and volume charts to see what the professionals are looking at. So let me explain how these chart types differ. We all know how time-based charts work. They advance by a set period of time, no matter how much trading has taken place in that period. So for a 5-minute chart, we're going to get a new bar every 5 minutes. Tick charts are different. They advance based on the number of trades that have occurred in the market. So a 1-tick chart will draw a new bar after every trade. A 5-tick chart will draw a new bar after every 5 trades. We don't know the quantities of orders in each trade, but we know it's enough to cause a price change. So in this diagram, you can see by the white arrows, we had 5 price changes from 1208 to 1209, back again, and we eventually went to 1210 and then down again. So after 5 price changes, we then started on a new bar. So if no trades occur, then no new bars will be drawn. A volume chart will advance based on the actual volume that has been traded. So a 5-volume chart will advance every 5 contracts traded. In this diagram, there were 2 trades of 1 lot and 1 trade of 3 lots. So there was enough volume to advance the chart to a new bar because this is a 5-volume chart. Okay, that's a theory, so let's move on to the real charts and we can look at this in more detail. So we're on the real charts now, and this was non-farm payroll day, the 5th of December 2014. Now on the left hand side I've got gold as a 1-minute chart, and on the right hand side I've got the 100-tick charts on gold. And just through experimentation I quite like the 100-tick, but you can change the values to anything you want. And one of the great things about NinjaTrader is you can have anything. So we've got tick charts, we've got volume, range, point and figure, and you can put any value in there. So that's that. Now you'll notice that on the 1-minute chart, this was a non-farm payroll move, and there's a lot of detail missing in the 1-minute chart. So if I link the charts together, what you can do is you can link them together so the cursor moves on both of them. So at this point here, we didn't see much on the 1-minute chart, but on the tick chart there was a lot of price action going on. So this move here was from 131 until 136, so 5 minutes, and there was a lot of price action just in this area here. So if I highlight that with a circle, okay, so on the tick chart it's a much wider circle and we've got some price action inside. So price came up, there was a supply zone here, price came up, tested the supply. This was a bit messy, there was some compression going on here, so I wouldn't have drawn the supply zone here. But you can see hopefully that it's a lot clearer on this time frame as to what was going on. Even the double bottom over here, you could actually see the demand zones being formed. So at this level here we had this demand, so price bounced off of it. There was a supply level here, so you can see the minute price action going on. So we had supply here, it bounced off, it broke through this supply zone here, so that was an engulf. And what will an engulf tell you? Well, so we got the engulf here, it was broken through, and I'll set that to my standard blue color. So when we came back to the demand that set off the break of this level, there would have been a nice trade, and that was at 146. So anyway, that's the tick chart. So it acts like a magnifying glass on the price action. We can also look at volume charts. So if I change this to a volume chart and I make it 100, okay, so this was the same thing on the volume chart. It's quite similar, but I actually prefer tick charts. But with the volume chart you'll only get moves as there's volume being traded in the market. So there we go, that's a volume chart. So often you'll get like a little glitch in the charts and you can't really tell if it's a zone or not. So this area over here. But if you go to the tick charts, the tick chart, you could clearly see that basing pattern before price took off and it came right back to it. So they're very useful, tick charts, but you still have to look at the time charts, because the time charts will give you an idea of how fast a move happens. Sometimes the tick charts won't do that, sometimes they will. So it's best to look at both time charts and tick charts. Okay, now just a word about the tick value that I use here. Depending on the instrument you're trading, you'll change the tick value. So if you're trading the E-mini S&P, there's a lot of volume that goes through that market. Sometimes there's 1,000 lots at every single price. So you're going to want to make that value higher. Otherwise the tick chart's going to be very fast. If you're trading, say, the pound, that's a lot lower volume and you might want to set it to something like 100 or even 50. I find that for gold 100 is a good value for me. So depending on the value here, the lower it is, the faster your chart's going to be, and the higher it is, the slower your chart's going to be. And the other thing is using tick data. Depending on the broker you're using and the trading platform you're using, you're either going to get filtered or unfiltered tick data. So if you're using one of the many indicators that give you tick charts on MetaTrader, you're probably going to be getting filtered tick data, which means you're not going to be getting every single tick from the exchange because the feed isn't fast enough to do that, and therefore you won't be getting a 100% accurate view of what the zones look like on a tick chart. If you're getting unfiltered data, so in my case I'm getting data via Kinetic on NinjaTrader, then you'll be getting every single tick, and that will be a more accurate representation of what's going on. Now this doesn't matter if you're trading, say, the 1 minute or the 5 minute chart. It may not even matter so much if you're trading tick charts, but I like to see exactly what's been going on, and that's why I use that. Anyway, I hope this has helped you, and I'll see you in the next video.